Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, uh, wherever you're, streaming this video from all over the world. This is my very first video of the DevOps, DevOps made simple with Dami. In this video, we will be talking about running Azure Pipeline agent in a Docker container. So there are actually multiple options when it comes to running your agents in your pipeline. We have the hosted agent. This is basically the agents, the hosted agent, the like virtual machine, which is being run, which is being provided by the cloud provider, be it AWS, Amazon, or GCP or Microsoft, and beat any provider. Yeah, but for the purpose of this course, this video, we're going to be focusing strictly on Microsoft Azure, right? So we also have the VMSS, right? So this is basically running virtual machine skill sets, whereby you can run auto scaling and whatnot. And then for the last one, we will have the self-hosted agent. So the self-hosted agent is basically you know uh the agents which you deploying a virtual machine, you're managing the virtual machine to some level, you're installing necessary applications or softwares which your pipeline will be requiring, and all of that. You're installing those softwares, you're doing some patches that is required by your pipeline, right? As against the popularly known one, which is the hosted agent, right? So in this video, we will be running through some steps. So this is Microsoft documents, official Microsoft document, which I would actually be going through. Apparently, all these steps are all stated here from the beginning to the end. From running the agents on a Windows Docker container, to the Linux, a Docker container. But for the purpose of this video, we will be focusing on the Linux side, right? So I also have my Azure DevOps platform here, where we'll be creating the project, where we'll be creating the project, we'll be creating the pipelines and necessary information, and especially the main prerequisites. So this is where everything is gonna be happening, right? So for the first part of this video, we're gonna be creating. I don't know. Should we create a new project or we use an existing project? I would say let's create a new project, right? So I'm gonna create a new project now, and I'm gonna name it DevOps Made Simple 2, because I think I already have something like this. So I'm just gonna name it. You know what? Let me make it. So this is like my first video. So this is the project we're gonna be creating here, and I'm gonna make it private. You know what? Let's make it public just for easy accessibility, because I don't think we're gonna be saving any keys or anything like that in the. I mean, if we're gonna be creating repo and all that, so let's create that. Okay, that is done. So let's create a repo for this. Um, let's create a new repo. Instead of using the default repo, I think I would rather just create a new one. Mm, let's hit the create button. All right, cool. So we have our repo here. So in this repo, we're going to be creating two files, right? According to the Microsoft documentation here, right? We require two major files. One of the files is the Dockerfile, which, okay, I'm just going to scroll down to the Linux section. All right, this is the Linux section here. So we're basically going to be creating new two major files here, which is the Dockerfile and the Ubuntu and the what's it called? this is Dockerfile for Ubuntu. This is Dockerfile for Alpine. So I'm just gonna use the Ubuntu one since I believe a lot of us can, perfectly relate with Ubuntu, right? So we're just gonna be creating the Docker file for the Ubuntu base image, and then obviously we have our Bash script here, which we are also gonna be creating in our repo. So let's create the first one. So I'm gonna name this. So most times when I when I'm creating Docker files, I like to, give it some type of labeling rather than just title like naming it Docker file. So for this one, I'm gonna be calling it Dockerfile.agent, right? And then here we're just gonna copy everything that we have here, and then we put it here, and then we can save it. I mean, uh, so in this video, just to make the video short and concise, right? I won't be going through, all of these, what each of these Docker file lines, what they do. We won't be going through that because this is completely outside of the scope of this video. So I'm going to be committing this now. And then for the second file, let's create. And then we're going to copy everything that we have here. So this is pretty much the script that does the script that does the bootstrap of the Docker image. So this is a script that actually does the starts and stop of the container of the container Docker container, right? So here in this script we have um, a few environment variables, right, which we were going to be declaring going forward. Like for example, here we have the AZP agent name, we have the agent pool, we have I think there's another one for the URL, which is the Azure DevOps organization URL, and a bunch of them. So going forward, we'll definitely get to that where we're going to be declaring our values for such for the variables, right? So I'm going to commit this now. So the next thing we're going to be doing, right, we will create a personal access token, right? In order to do that, we just need to come here and then come to personal access token, and then we can click on new token. And then so I already have a token which I created a while back, which I'm going to be using, but I'll just quickly walk us through how we can create this token, right? So here we put the name of the token, we can set the expiration dates, and then of course we can give it full access or custom defined access, and then based on our need and requirements we can assign permissions to the token, and then we can create it. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to be using the token which I already have existing. I think it's this one. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. So the next thing we're going to be doing here is to create the agent pool, right? So in order for us to create the agent pool, let's go into the project, and then let's go into project settings, and then agent pools, right? So right now we already have a bunch of agent pools existing, right? So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to create a new one from scratch. So we're selecting self-hosted agent here, and then we can pick a name for the agent pool. So let's give it first video pool, right? And then we can click on grant access permission to all pipelines. I mean, this is obviously optional, but then if you feel like adding some descriptions to, you can go ahead, but it's not really necessary. So, because obviously we have an optional flag there, so we can proceed to create the pool. Where is it? This is the pool we're going to be using for this for this video, for this solution, right? So the next thing we're going to be doing now is to gather all the necessary information which we are going to be feeding into the what's it called, into the environment variables which I mentioned earlier, right? So the environment variables which we are going to be requiring are, give me a second, let me just open up a notepad somewhere. Give me a second. So the environment variables which we are going to be requiring for this are, the first one is this one, and then I think this is the organization URL, right? And then the next one is the token. This is the personal access token. And the next one is the pool. If you can recall, we just created one now. I think it's first video underscore pool. And then the last one is the agent, right? So I think for the agent, we can, name it anything. Obviously, this isn't existing at the moment, so we have to, come up with a name. So for the purpose of this video, we can call it first video underscore agent, or yeah, I think we can do that. So this is all we have for now. And then so the next step is to, excuse me, see how we can, build this Docker image, right? So what we're going to do now, I am going to, give me a second. Go to the repo. Let's clone this repo. Copy. And then I'm going to clone this repo in here, right? So let's open up the terminal. All right, so we have successfully, cloned this repo, and then we have our Dockerfile here. We have our README here, which was automatically generated at the point of creation of the repo, and obviously we have our Bash start script here, right? So the next thing we're gonna do is, build the image, right? So we have the command where we are going to be using to build the image. Give me a second. Let me pull that out real quick. Give me a sec. So let's confirm that we're right here. Okay. So this command is going to be docker build hyphen tag. Let's give it a tag. I think it's going to be double dashes for the flag, for the tag flag. And then maybe we could name it, let's name it first video, and then we can give it Linux as the excuse me, as a tag for that. And then let's put the file flag here, and this is gonna be dockerfile.agent. So as you can see now, the image started building. Oh, okay, this is quite faster than I thought. Let's check that. Docker images. Okay, so we have something here already. As you can see here, we have our image here, first video. I'm just going to go into the Docker desktop and then see if we actually have the image here. Okay, so this is it here, right? So what we're gonna do now, right, is let's see if we can, let's see if we can, run this agent. Now that we have the image already built, let's see if we can run it. So we can actually run this agent by, you know, um, running the command on the terminal, just like I just did now. Alternatively, we can run this Docker image as a container from this Docker desktop application. All we just need to do is come here and then click on play, right? So for the purpose of this video, right, I'm just going to be running this on this terminal here, right? But then don't forget, we already have a bunch of environment variables which we need to declare values for, right? So all I'm gonna do is I'll just come here and then just gather the information that I need here, and then I'll just copy and paste it in the terminal. Just give me a second. I think I already have something here. Just give me a sec. So we have this, and then this is the token which I earlier mentioned that I created, right? So like I earlier mentioned, this is the AZP URL. This is the Azure DevOps organization URL. I'm just gonna show us real quick. As you can see here, this is the URL, right? And then the value after the first slash is actually the organization name. So all we need is just all of this, right? Of course, including the HTTPS, right? So, and then the next one is the personal access token. The next one is the pool. We're definitely going to be changing this. I think our pool, we named it first video pool. Under the agent, I think it was also, give me a sec. This was agent. And then the image we're going to be using is the image which we just recently built, right? And then this is it here, first video. And don't forget, we have to add the tag, and the tag is Linux, right? So we're just going to have it here and then add the tag Linux. All right, let's copy that. Hopefully we don't run into errors. Let's paste that here and let's run it. So as you can see here, it's trying to run the agent. So so when running agent, there are some processes that goes on, like downloading the agent file, extracting it, imputing those information like the token, the organization, the URL, and all of that. So let's just wait for it to complete. So we're expecting to see listening for jobs. All right, now we're done, right? So as you can see here, it's connected to server, it's scanning for tool capabilities, and then here it says successfully added to the agent, tested the agent connection, and it was successful. And then now we have listening for jobs, right? So let's go back to Azure DevOps to see if our agent is successfully added to the pool which we just recently created. Just give me a second, let's find that. So we go to agent pools, first video pool, and then agents. As you can see here, we have our agent here, first video agent. And obviously, as you can see here, it says the agent is online. Right now, it says listening for job. What our agent is just doing now is just literally just chilling, expecting us to build a pipeline, put a pipeline on the go, and then it can start to run, it can start to do its job. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is run a pipeline and build a quick pipeline, right? So what do we do? Let's go to pipelines, or you know what, I think what we can do, is let's go to repo. Let's create a pipeline here. File. Let's give it first video pipeline dot YAML, because obviously this is a YAML based pipeline. So the extension is going to be YML or YAML. Both extensions are actually correct. So yeah, so I already have something which I created a few days ago. So I'm just gonna import it into here. So this is just gonna be a very simple pipeline that just runs a shell command to say maybe hello world or anything like that, just to test that the self-hosted agent is actually this containerized self-hosted agent is actually working. So I'm just gonna pull that out real quick. Give me a second. Give me a sec. All right, so we're just gonna use this, right? So this is the pipeline we're gonna use. For the pool, I'm definitely gonna be changing this to first video pool, and then the way Azure DevOps agent pool works is you can actually specify the pool. When you specify the pool, it randomly picks up any available online agents, right? So since we just have a single agent existing in that pool, we can just leave it as pool name, right? And then it only just picks up the single agent which we currently have. But in the case where we have multiple agents, right, in that same pool, then we can streamline and then specify a single pool by using the demands flag and then obviously specifying the name of the agent, right? So right now we're just going to leave it like this. We can as well just uncomment this to particularly specify that agent which we just created. But for now we're just going to comment this out and then let it randomly pick what is available to us, right? So this is a simple pipeline. It's just going to run these three command and then that'll be it. So I'm going to save this now. All right, cool. So let's go create the pipeline. Create new pipeline. So we're going to use this repo. And then we're going to select an existing YAML pipeline here. Yes, that's our pipeline. Continue. Yeah, so this is our pipeline here. I'm just going to click on save. Yeah, and I'm going to run pipeline now. So let's just wait for it. I think there are some permissions which we might have to grant. I'm not sure, but let's just wait for it. Okay, it's running already. Interesting. So as you can see now, our command was successful. So let's just wait for it to post job checkout. All right, cool. So as you can see, these are the three commands here. It says hello from TechMate simple agent running on this, and then pipeline execution completed. Those are literally the three commands that I wanted it to run, right? And then we can also get some other information about the agent. So if you recall, this is the agent name which we're using, and then this is the agent, machine name, obviously from the host name command within the agent, and then a couple of other information about the agent. I mean, just so we're 100% sure of what we're doing, we can also come here and then let's close this up. Let's close this up. Let's change this. Give me a sec. All right, let's pull this. All right, cool. Now, what I want us to do now for last test is change the name of the hosted agent. So for now, we actually have it as where is it? First video agent, right? So we're gonna change it to something else, right? So all we just need to do is rebuild the agent or rerun the agent. You get me? So let's do this. Let's change it to self-hosted agent, right? And then is there anything else to change? I don't think so. So let's run this again. All right, let's wait for it to listen for jobs. All right, cool. Now we're listening for jobs. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Agent pools. First video pool. And let's go to our agent. You see the agent name actually has changed. And then don't forget, if we want to run the pipeline now the second time, since our agent name actually changed, right? Give me a second. I'm gonna explain something to us real quick. Just so like I earlier mentioned, right? Our agent name actually changed. So if we were actually using this demand, right? If we're particularly specifying the agent name, right? We would actually have to come here, right? And then change the agent name to what we currently have now, right? But since we're not using this, then we wouldn't have to make any of such changes in this pipeline, right? So the agent pool is obviously going to automatically pick the new name, right? So let's run the pipeline again. Give me a sec. Let's click on run. Excuse me. Okay. All right, cool. Job started. All right, can we see agent names changed? All right, let's just wait for it. All right, can we see the agent name also changed here? Because this is the new agent which the pipeline is actually running on. And then this is our job, and then our script actually got completed. So this is pretty much how we can actually, run Azure DevOps pipeline, a self-hosted agent on a Docker container, right? For other, coming series, we're going to be talking about, building more complex pipelines. Right now we're actually building our Docker on my local machine, right? Which obviously isn't the best practice, but this was just to, show us how the technology actually works, right? But in, subsequent videos, coming videos, I'm going to be making, showing us how we can actually, build the, build the agent, build the Docker image in the pipeline. We're going to be having pipeline extensions. We're going to be building in, tagging in, and then we're going to be pushing it into Azure Container Registry. We're also going to be looking at, in other videos, we're also going to be looking at how we can run this instead of a Docker container. We're going to be running this in a Kubernetes cluster, in a Kubernetes pod, Azure Kubernetes service to be precise. So there are actually so many things that could be done. I can show us how we can, enable scaling, whereby when there is multiple job, or when there is some level of traffic, on the agent, it increases the replicas, the replicas of the pod. And then, when you go back to check the pool for the a number of agent, you actually see that it's actually increased. So we're going to be looking into that in other videos, right? So you guys can, comment in the comment section, and then tell me what you feel about the first video. And then if there is any areas of improvement you think I could consider, please feel free to express yourself. Thank you, guys.